Hi, I'm Stacy Tetchner, CEO of the National Speakers Association. But today I'm coming to you in my role as the Executive Director of the NSA Foundation. I am excited to introduce you to a video series created by the Foundation that features 10 NSA leading ladies who have served as president of the association during the last 43 years. This series will feature unique insights and stories from these leading ladies on the crucial roles they played in NSA's history and development. Everything will culminate with an in-person reception and fundraising event at Influence 2016 in Phoenix. I look forward to seeing you there.
A vivid memory from my year as the 10th NSA president was that NSA and I were synergistic. NSA was growing up at a time, so was I, because this was my first year full-time as a speaker. Our visionary founder, Cavett Robert, had convinced Bill Johnson that he in fact should be our first part-time executive director. Don Thoren mentioned at Bill's funeral that his $500 a month salary included his entire 5-person family available to NSA and the rental of his back bedroom, which was the first headquarters of NSA. Major change when I was president was to improve the business systems. Gail Lawson was a newly hired serious executive director, and she took the shoe boxes that contained all the cards of membership records that were on the floor and put them on the table. Revolutionary. That was also the year that we became computerized. The year before, in Robert Henry's years, the board had approved an unrealistically low budget. And my year, we implemented. Now you understand, they weren't all synced together. I think we had Macs and PCs. However, it was a start. One of our greatest challenges as part of our growing up was to stop worrying about what are we going to do this year, and the next year, what are we going to do this year, and to start looking long term. Not so much of where we are today, where do we want to grow to become? We made long-term decisions. We started a strategic planning committee, which might not be a big deal now, but at the time it was absolutely revolutionary. And NSA lucked out. The chair of our strategic planning committee was Ed Scannell. He had already been president of ASTD and MPI and would go on to be president of NSA. He was seasoned and knew associations and what they needed. As a bonus, George Morrissey, who was an internationally acclaimed author, speaker, and consultant on strategic planning, was on the committee. Even now, NSA benefits from the work that first committee did, even though obviously we've had other strategic planning committees. That was probably one of the smartest moves we made. At my first National Speakers Association convention, 1977, I was a 32-year-old hairstylist who had made $125 outside of the hairstyling industry, where I got paid quite well. I walked into a luncheon, there were 3 men and an empty seat. And I walked up and said, "May I join you?" Afterwards, somebody said, "Do you know who you sat with? Ty Boyd, he's really famous." If I had known he was really famous, I would not have had the confidence to say, "May I join you?" One of the other men at the table was an insurance trainer in San Francisco. Now remember, I was 32, I was cute, and he was, let's say, a little bit of a lech. And he said, "I'm organizing a program called Speak to Me. Would you like to be part of it? And new speakers can get up and speak." And I said, "Well, sure, yes." I mean, that was how organized the convention was. "Would you like to be part of a program this afternoon?" And it is the only time I remember my legs shaking. Fortunately, I had slacks, it didn't show. I got up and delivered the first 15 minutes of my best Rotary Club speech. And afterwards, Mike Frank came up and said, "You are really good. Do you have a brochure?" No. A month later, he called me and booked me to speak on the same program to 2,000 people. Dr. Robert Schuller, the minister from Garden Grove, who was a very popular speaker, and Dave Yoho. When I started, it was mostly as a keynote speaker, and I was lucky enough to have as many as 120 keynotes a year, 80% booked with speakers bureaus. I am smart enough to know it is totally unrealistic to be the flavor of the month with speakers bureaus for 20 years. What I fortunately picked up on was the client started saying, "Patricia, while you're here, can you give some advice to our executive? He's not a great speaker." And the major turning point was delivering a keynote at a sales meeting when the national sales manager came up and said, "Patricia, I liked your speech. However, I loved how you delivered it. Can you teach our salespeople how to speak that way? Because it takes us a year to get in a position to deliver an hour presentation to a hospital board. It's worth $9 million a year if we get the business. However, we're losing sales, not because of our price or our offering, because the presentation skills of our competitors are better than ours." Listening to the requests of my clients has helped me evolve into an in-demand executive speech coach and sales presentation skills trainer. Probably both those aspects of my business are more satisfying and rewarding than when I accepted the applause as a keynote speaker.